Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Bite Size Staffing, where I attempt to take huge dental staffing issues and condense them into bite sized webinars for you to watch in between patients or on your lunch break. My name's Holly Perez. I am the co founder of Direct Dental, an online dental staffing platform, and the head of dental recruitment at Henry Schein. I spend pretty much all day, every day, talking to dental offices that need to hire, dental to dental candidates that are looking for work, and connecting with the job boards to figure out how to get my clients' job advertisements seen by as many candidates as possible. So I do know a little something about finding talent in the dental world. Today's bite is all about solving no shows. It seems like anytime throughout the interview process, a candidate can vanish on you. And this webinar hopes to give you all of our tips and tricks to help you alleviate those issues. I used to rack my brain on why people ghost in interviews. It just never made sense to me. For a long time, I just thought maybe people were too afraid to say no, so they would rather just disappear, or they were just really inconsiderate and rude. Or maybe they didn't know how to use a calendar properly. But recently, I got to do a article on Gen Z, and I did a lot of research on them, which I'm going to share in another bite with you. But we found that over 60% of Gen Z are medically diagnosed with anxiety. So this got me thinking that maybe some of these applicants are just so nervous, so anxious that they would rather that just turn into ghosts than go through with the interview process. And since I've made this discovery, I have had my team and my clients make some big changes in how we interview and schedule our interviews. And we've seen great improvement on this so that we no longer have as many no shows as we were having. So listen close because we're about to share all of my secrets with you. First thing is we have to get the applicants to call us back. A big portion of them ghost us where they apply to our job. We see their resume. We're really excited to see their resume. We call them and then crickets. They never get back to us. They have just vanished into thin air. So first things first, make sure you have an amazing job post. Your job post needs to be memorable for people to want to work with you and call you back. So, if you do not have a fantastic job post, please go back to my bite on this topic or head to my blog and read all about how to have a compelling job advertisement. Next, we have to just switch up how we connect with these applicants. So, my biggest complaint with these doctors and office managers I work with, we do a great job writing this advertisement. They get a ton of applicants, and then when they go to call them, nobody calls them back. And I always ask, what's your process of getting in touch with these applicants? And almost all of them simply say, oh, well, I called and left a voicemail, one voicemail, or I sent them an email, never heard back. And this is just simply not good enough. And here is what happens on the applicant side of things. The applicant gets home one day, say it's a random Tuesday night, they apply to a handful of offices, and then they go to work the next day. That next day, while they're working, they are getting every single office that they apply to is calling them to try to schedule an interview. The applicant that gets home at the end of the day, they're trying to call back all of these offices just to realize they only got the office phone number. The office is now closed. Maybe they leave a voicemail. Maybe they don't feel comfortable leaving a voicemail. They don't know if other people in the office know the job's open or not. And then they say, okay, well, I just got to call them back on my break tomorrow. Their break comes, they call one office, end up spending their entire break doing a phone interview with that office, and then don't get back to the other 4 or 5 offices that they needed to. This, I think, is pretty much a very vicious cycle that we find all of these candidates in, where if they can't get back to you after hours, they're simply not able to get back to you. So, what we do is I call, try to call during a lunch break. So I usually don't take lunch breaks. I use my lunch breaks to call applicants to try to catch them on their lunch break. And then if they don't answer, I leave a voicemail, a very happy, cheerful voicemail. And as soon as I hang up from that voicemail, I send them a text message letting them know, hey, very interested to chat with you about the opportunity you applied for. Let me know when we can connect. If they do not get back to me, then I will text them again at 5:30, trying to catch them on their way home or right when they get home before they get too busy making dinner for the kids or whatnot. With a text message, hey, would love to chat. Let me know if this evening works for you or if you're going to have time tomorrow. They usually almost always reply back to my 5:30 text message, which is phenomenal because then I can correspond back and forth via texting right then and there, and we can schedule a time to chat the following day, which works for everybody. Um, so that is the way that I always do things. If they don't get back to my 5:30, then I do wait about 48 hours. I try to give them a whole day to maybe weed through every other office that's probably reaching out to them, and go in at 48 hours later and follow up with a call and a text again saying, not trying to bother you, just trying to connect with you. If I don't hear back from you, I'm going to assume that you're no longer interested. And then usually they will reply to even let me know that they're not interested anymore, or I'm so sorry, I didn't realize so many offices were going to be calling me. Let's schedule a time to chat. And then now you've got that interview. So yes, it is a little aggressive. Yes, it's a lot more work on your end, but we do really need to focus on reaching these candidates where they're at in their life in order to get them into our office. I have a lot of people say, well, I don't want them having my personal cell phone. I don't want them, I don't want to text them. I don't want them having my personal cell phone. But here's some stats for you. 80% of all calls go to voicemails. Only 33% of people listen to voicemails from contacts, so people that they do know. Only 18% of people listen to voicemails from numbers they don't know. I am one of them. I don't listen to my voicemails ever on my personal phone. 21.5% of emails sent are read. 95% of text messages are read and responded to. So send the text. If you really don't want to use your personal numbers, set up Google Voice or something like that. But texting absolutely needs to be part of your protocol to be connecting with applicants. I've got some scripts for you here. The way you sound in your voicemail can also determine if you get a call back. So let me demonstrate how not to sound. Hi, Matt. This is Holly. I'm calling from Main Street Dental. You applied to my dental assistant job, and I was impressed with your resume. Would love to chat. Give me a call back at 123-234-3456 when you get a moment. Bye. Versus, hey, Matt, this is Holly. I'm calling from Main Street Dental. You applied to my dental assistant job, and I was very impressed to see CEREC experience on your resume. I would love to chat with you. Give me a call at 123-234-3456 when you got a moment, and I'll follow up with a text message. Look forward to speaking with you soon. Bye. Who are you more likely to call back? If you can't make your voice sound chipper or super happy like that, I totally get it. But ask one of your really happy employees to make the calls for you. And then once they get connected with the candidate, they can have you jump on the phone and do your interview process as you see fit. But you definitely, if you're leaving voicemails, want to sound very happy, engaging, somebody that they want to know, is how you want to sound on those voicemails. Same with text. Again, I just like to keep it short and sweet. Give them your name, give them the position they applied for, the name of your practice, so they can go back and reference the application if needed. And then again, you're really excited to chat with them. That all needs to come through on the text. Remember, 95% of text messages are read and replied to. So again, this is absolutely crucial for success in recruitment for your dental practice. Now, once we get them on the actual phone, we're going to proceed with a phone interview. I did a bite on interview styles before, and I go into questions that you should be asking on the phone interview to know if they're the right candidate for you. This bite here, though, we are working on getting them to actually show up for the practice. So I do go into this in that other bite. So I'm sorry if it's repetitive, but this is absolutely crucial if we are dealing with any anxious candidates, particularly in that Gen Z group, that, more than half of them are suffering from anxiety. So, what we want to do is get in front of that anxiety and answer any questions where they might not feel comfortable asking them, might not even know to ask, but it might be causing them some anxiety later on when they get closer to the interview. So we want to take a moment during the phone interview, that initial phone conversation with them, to get ahead of these questions. This is what my recruiters are now doing, and we are seeing an vast improvement in the amount of people that are actually showing up for their interviews. So this is an absolute must in my opinion. So once we've done the initial phone interview, we know that this is somebody that we absolutely want to move forward. With an in-person interview, we want to answer these questions. So why is there an opening? Applicants, we know they tend to get very nervous and curious as to why there is an opening in a practice, but sometimes it could feel kind of rude to ask. So you just need to come forward and answer that question for them to help ease that anxiety, and even make it exciting for them. Oh, our amazing dental assistant, she's going back to hygiene school. We're so thrilled for her. And we can't wait for her to join us as a hygienist later on. But we need a dental assistant now. So that's why the position's open. Or, oh, our hygienist is unfortunately moving away, or she had a baby and she gets to be able to stay at home with the baby. Just put a nice twist onto why the position is open, as opposed to, oh, we had another dental assistant quit on us. Like that's just going to let them know, like, there is something not good going on in that practice, and I do not want to proceed with the interview. But they don't want to be rude and tell you that to your face, so they're just going to no-show the interview. So take the time to explain why there's an opening in the practice and do whatever you can to make sure there's a positive spin on it. What is the parking situation? This is probably just some trauma from when my mom taught me how to drive, but parking is a big source of anxiety for me. I do know from my clients that have tricky parking situations, like they've got a parking building. I can't remember what a parking garage. They tend to have a lot of no shows. And I think it's because people get there, they get frazzled. They don't know, do I have to pay for parking? I don't want to pay for parking. I can't afford to pay for parking. Is my car going to get towed? Am I parking in the right spot? And then they get super frazzled. And then they just might not be like, I can't even interview at this point because I'm so freaking out about parking now, that they just end up driving away and not interviewing with you. So make sure you discuss parking way in advance. Yes, we do have a parking garage. Make sure you get a ticket where you get in. As long as it doesn't say reserved parking, feel free to park there and then bring in your ticket, and we will cover the cost of the parking garage for you. Or it's a big parking lot, park wherever you feel comfortable. It's totally okay to park wherever you want, and that's all you need to know about parking. So just take a moment to explain that to them so that way they're not freaking out about having their car towed or anything in that capacity. What to wear. As a recruiter, I always try to tell my applicants what to wear on an interview. A quick, hey, doctor might want to run you through a simple assessment test while you're here. So wear scrubs. Or our office is business formal. We would love to see you in that attire when you come in for the interview. And just giving them a quick heads up on what you're expecting them to be wearing when they show up is going to help alleviate a lot of issues for them in that regards. And then on the flip side, be aware of their situation. So if you're scheduling them to come at 5 p.m. and they've told you they're going to come straight after work, take a moment to say, hey, I know you're coming right from work. I'm going to let doctor know that you're going to be in your work scrubs. So that way he's prepared for it and you don't have to worry about scrambling to change or anything like that. That's going to do so much to just alleviate their anxiety about that. They already know they're going to be having to battle traffic to get to your office in time for the interview. So just taking that stress off of them is going to have a huge impact on mitigating any anxiety and them feeling more comfortable to show up for the interview, even though they might have spit all over their scrubs. So do be aware of their situation. So if they are coming straight from work or if they're coming on their lunch break, do not give them the we're in business formal attire practice. They're not good. It won't work. So just be aware of their situation and then give them the right advice on attire according to that. How who will greet them and who to ask for. So depending how long you've been doing this phone interview, I'm one of those people, I'll catch a name and then 5 minutes later that name is we've talked about a bunch of other things, that name is gone. They might feel very weird asking you to repeat your name. I do not have that issue, but they might. So then they hang up, they don't have your name, they don't even know who they're interviewing with. They're freaking out now because they're like, do I just walk in and say I have an interview, or do I not go in for the interview and save myself that embarrassment? Unfortunately, probably the latter. So when you're wrapping up the call, just a reminder, my name's Holly. I'll be the one doing the formal interview with you on whatever day you guys agreed upon. Jill, she works the front desk. So just when you pop in, introduce yourself to Jill, let her know that you're here to see me, Holly, for the interview, and then I'll be out to get you. That way you're reminding them of your name. They know who's going to be there to greet them, and they have no anxiety or qualms about walking into your office and saying, hey, I have an interview with Holly. And then lastly, how long is the interview going to take? Time can be a major source of anxiety for people, especially if they are coming during their lunch break or they have to arrange childcare. So just make sure to offer them, hey, our formal interviews are about 45 minutes long. If it goes really well, doctor might have you do an assessment test. He doesn't always, sometimes he does. So that could extend it about 20, 30 minutes. So maybe just plan for a 90-minute interview with us. And then that way they can plan accordingly and be ready for that. So just take a moment, tell them how long it's going to take. Yes, this does make the phone interview probably about 5 to 10 minutes longer than it needs to be. But yes, it does improve the show rate of the applicants. Other ways to avoid people from ghosting you and getting them to show up. After the phone interview, you hang up, you quickly text them, hey, so excited to meet with you with the date. Here's the address of our practice. Reminder of any parking information that they might need, with the date and time of the interview, and that you are so excited to meet with them. So that way they're like, oh, they are really excited. They're on top of all of this stuff. All of my questions that I might have forgotten have just been reiterated on this text. I know where to find it come the day of the interview. This is a key piece that is never to be missed. And then the day before or the morning of the interview, I like to text them again. So excited for you to meet with Dr. Jones. Again, here's the address. Here's the date and time. Please let me know if anything's come up and we have to reschedule the interview. This gives them an out if they do need to reschedule. Some people feel very bad about rescheduling and then would just rather no show than reschedule. So that gives them the ability to reschedule. Or if for some reason they got their time of the interview confused with another office, I've done it personally. I do not hold it against people that have done that. Then you've now corrected them and they're going to show up at the right place at the right time and know to ask for you. So take a time to just text them the morning of or the evening before their interview to just go over everything one more time. Now, to get them to show up for their actual first day, we see this happen so many times where They get through the whole interview process with you. They seem great. You've offered them the position. They've accepted the position. You've agreed on their day to start. That day comes and goes, and they are nowhere to be seen. So we want to put up some steps to make sure that they show up for their first day of work with us. So one of those ways is to talk with them about their plan to put in their 2-week notice. When are you going to put in your 2-week notice? Are you going to do it at the end of the day, the beginning of the day? How do you think your doctor is going to react? Just kind of get that conversation going around the 2-week notice. And then when at the end of the day, when they were to put in their 2-week notice, just reach out to them with a call or a text. How did it go putting in your 2-week notice? Is there anything you need from me support wise in regards to this? Just kind of reach out, check in on them, make sure that they put in their 2-week notice. Their boss didn't try to offer them a huge raise that they're going to accept or anything along those lines. You just want to be certain that the 2-week notice was put in. The doctor accepted that 2-week notice and that they are going to still join you on the agreed upon date. Can try to continue to connect with them and include them before their start date. So if you have any lunch and learns or team outings within those 2 weeks before they start, invite them to join you. This gives them a great opportunity to know, even if they don't join you, that they're still valued and you're excited and you're doing fun stuff with the team, and they have that to look forward to once they actually become a part of the team. Or if they do take you up on the offer, they get a chance to bond and connect with the team members a little bit more before they actually start, which in my opinion is going to make them extremely sticky. Utilize your team. If they clicked with one of your team members during the interview, ask that team member to reach out and tell them how excited they are to be working with them. That's going to be huge that your new employee already has a good friend in your practice. We know that when you work with your friends, you tend to be really sticky and stay for a long term. So just getting a text message from someone that they really like during the interview. Hey, I'm excited for you to join. Doctor said you'll be here next week. I'm so excited. Can't wait to see you then. It's just going to do so much for their psyche and almost guarantee that candidate or your new employee is going to actually show up for their first day. And then get them lunch. So reach out to them the day they're supposed to start. Hey, the team and I are so excited that you're going to be joining us tomorrow. In honor of having you join our practice, I'm getting lunch for the entire team. Here are some restaurants that you can choose from. Please let me know which restaurant you want and what item you want, and I'll get that ordered along with everybody else on the team's order and get that in. So that way we can spend some time getting to know you a little bit better over a dedicated lunch break. The team and I, again, we cannot wait. We're thrilled for you to join. So the goal with this is just making them so excited that you're excited that they're going to be there. They feel like they've already joined the right office because you've been so supportive over these last 2 weeks before they've actually started, and it increases their likelihood of showing up. I also have added, I didn't add it to this list, but I've started to talk, especially when I talk about hygienists, is having a soft launch for the hygienist and letting them know that ahead of time. So instead of a brand new hygienist who's working in your office for the first time, I mean, maybe they did a working interview, but even still, they're coming in as a new employee to your practice. Don't have 8 back-to-back patients for them. So they literally walk in, sign a little bit of paperwork, and then they're stuck in their operatory all day. Maybe only have 4 to 5 patients for them that day. That way, this gives them time to see a patient, and then they realize, okay, yeah, that my operatory wasn't set up exactly how I wanted, so that way they can readjust it accordingly, and then they're ready for the next patient, and then they have some time after that patient to hang out and connect with the team a little bit more, get to know the other operatories a little bit better, maybe even assist you just for fun, get a chance to have some one-on-one time with you, and then they have another patient. So you just kind of space it out a little bit so they get to know the office a little bit better, get to know the team a little bit better, instead of having to go straight into back to back to back to back patients, which we know that can be stressful already, but then they really don't know the practice all that well. So you're giving them kind of a soft launch. Other flip side to this is we are seeing, more hygienists no-show the first day of work when they accepted a position. So if they for some reason do no show, this might be a little bit more manageable schedule for the doctor to handle, or you're only rescheduling 4 to 5 patients as opposed to all 8 patients. So it does alleviate some stress if that candidate does no show. Um, Lastly, in some cases, you can just never avoid ghosting. The human psyche is a whole nother animal that nobody really truly understands, no matter how many degrees you probably have in the subject. So, the best tip I can give you is treat your applicants like you do your candidates. Just know that they're scarce. And they have options too. You are not the only dental practice that they can work at. They have so many other dental practices that they can work at. So you cannot act and do your interview process as if you are their only option. It is up to you to connect with them, to sell them on why working with your practice is the best option for them. You do that right, these applicants are going to show up and come in for their interviews and join your team. And if you continue to treat them right, they will be with you indefinitely. Thank you so much for joining me for this bite. As always, this QR code is going to take you to my blog where I cover a lot of this information and then some. And then if you have any specific questions, just feel free to reach out to me at holly@directdental.com. All right. I'm glad you guys joined me for this bite, and I'll see you soon. Bye.